305 Fights, where champions rise.
305 Fights, where the champions rise, 305, donde surgen los campeones. We're here at Dynamic Wellness with my favorite fight doctor, Dr. Maarouf. How are you, sir?
Beautiful, beautiful.
Excellent. Great to see you. Last time we talked about the health of the knees, okay, issues. There's also a lot of shoulder issues. I want to talk about that. We want to talk about not just about fighting, but about recuperating, regenerating, and not only that, but just staying healthy in general.
Sure.
And healthy in general. The shoulder. One of the things that I noticed is when they're practicing, like say hitting the bag or something, they stepped in and they hit the bag, and then the hand was going this position instead of staying in front of the position. Can you talk a little bit about positioning of the shoulder?
Absolutely. One of the most common injuries we see with rotator cuff injuries or tear or even acceleration of arthritis is due to poor mechanics. That's hitting the bag incorrectly, taking on too much repetition, too short period of time. That leads to a loss of range of motion. When you lose range of motion, you get spasticity, spasm. When you have bad injuries, you can get acceleration of arthritis and chronic pain. And when you got pain, you don't want to move it in that direction, so you're compounding your injury.
Yeah.
So if you want to heal, you have to focus on range of motion, a good therapy program, and focus on keeping your strength and good technique, not just pounding weights.
Correct. One of the things that I noticed, like I said, is your core and your back, using your spine instead of your shoulder is very small. So if I do like this is not a good position. If I adjust and have a good structure and I use my and I support with my spine, it'll be better motion, correct?
Yeah. So it's not just your shoulder itself. You have to work on mobility of your spine, your scapulothoracic junction. You have to have good mobility in order to have one fluid movement. Otherwise, if you're stiff, you could exactly the way you hit, you could tear your biceps. You could sprain your AC joint. You could lead to rotator cuff issues.
Excellent. Now, for therapy of range of motion, like I've seen this. This is a very good range of motion. I do a lot of like this type of exercise, and then I actually do this type of range of motion.
Okay.
But let me ask a question. Is it good to add like some tension or stress or weights when you're doing that type of motion?
So that's a good question. I think you have to think of your rotator cuff and each muscle that you're working out. So of your rotator cuff, you have to focus on what is the movement, abduction, flexion, external rotation, internal rotation, and first work on adequate range of motion. Once you perfect the range of motion without weights, then you could slowly start to add weights over time.
Excellent. Now, also, is there any supplements or anything you can take? Like, of course, I just did an IV, keep hydrated. Hydrated is good for the muscles, but I think they say glucosamine is good for you.
Glucosamine is good for joints. There are things like creatine to help with muscle building. There's glutamine to help with repair. So it really depends on your needs. But we'll come in here, we're happy to assess it for you and optimize your care.
Excellent, because we believe in life health success. Your social media is?
Dr.J.Maarouf.
Excellent. If not, contact 305fights.tv. If not, go to the fights. You'll see them there. Thank you, Dynamic Wellness. 305 es donde surgen los campeones.